shiny shoes, it was clear she saw what she did to you. Street corner spotlight lights up the stage where she lives her life. Streetwalker in the spotlight each night, walking on the sharp edge of the knife. Run for the money, walk for the grab, the best you've had. Best you've had. Best you've had. Run for the money, walk for the grab, the best you've had. Lecherous men all ask her out, to most of them she says no. The paying gent she sticks to most, a wealthy man is a generous host. Street corner spotlight, a delicate shade to enhance in white. Streetwalker in the spotlight, flesh painted on, skin tight. Run for the money, walk for the grab, the best you've had. Best you've had. Best you've had. Run for the money, walk for the grab, the best you've had. She's jumping, she's grabbing, she's keeping up the game. She's backward and forwards, in and out the same. With suit on and shirt on, money makes your name. She's helpless, she's lifeless, but keeping up the game. She's jumping, she's grabbing, she's keeping up the game. She's backward and forwards, in and out the same. With suit on and shirt on, money makes your name. She's helpless, she's lifeless, but keeping up the game.
Crikey, there I am. G'day, you mob. Marginal technical difficulties and potentially dodgy internet as well. How the heck are we all going? That's good. That's good to hear. So good to hear. Yeah, let's see. Let's get up to the top of this chat. S got the first cab off the rank. Well done, lad. Well done to you. As per usual, big bucket of kudos in the post. And one of those for good measure. I'm also tempted to I'm tempted to offer as a prize, as well as the bucket of kudos, an opportunity for the first person in the chat to select my wonderful backgrounds for the following week. So potentially, S, if you want a background of your choosing behind me while the wind makes my green screen misbehave, email me a picture. Obviously, a picture that complies with the YouTube's what do you call it? Community standards, I believe, are the two words combined together that I was chasing. So I'm gonna put that out there as an idea. Paddy, yeah, to make a interesting. What do you call those drawings where you flip? Oh, yeah, a flip book. Wow, she even said it. Yeah, Paddy, someone's got to do it. Jess, Mitch, Jules. How are you, Jess? It's so much easier to say. Nadia better. How are you, Nadia? Welcome back. Tropico, how's it going? Nads. Haven't been called Nads since high school. Big D, how's it going? Dan Slee, brother, how are you? Haven't seen a hairdo photo of your dog for a while, Dan. What's been going on? BJ Palmer, how's it going? Who else am I missing? Ging. Reasonable crew in already, which is great. Mike Kinseth, how are you, Mike? Welcome again. Good to see you. Joel G, kia ora. Brother, how are you? Oh, I like a quick hello session. Almost at the bottom. It's going to jump on me now that I've said that out loud, isn't it? It is. It is. Where's the black crows out there somewhere? They don't. The local crows here don't get terribly comfortable with people. I guess they're used to being chased away, but I quite enjoy them. I did, BJ. Did you not? You mustn't have got my reply. I think I replied in the email, BJ, with yay, because it was very bloody good to finally get concrete knowledge that there's another one of those shirts out there. I can't, if I walk, I'll have food in my hand to try and lure the crows in, and as soon as they see me walking in their direction, they fly away. And if you throw the food towards them, they fly away. So it's a lengthy process to get them tamed down a bit. I was going to bring a guest straight up, but they've disappeared. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I certainly enjoy them as a bird. I know a lot of people don't enjoy them at all, but yeah, big fan. I like how they say fuck all the time. I believe I get away with that one inside the good boy timer because it was a different word. It was an onomatopoeia. What's been going on? Oh, I've been swooped by plenty of magpies, but the trick with magpies is to build a relationship with them. They have a very good memory for faces. How bizarre. My mouse is like wandering itself across the screen at its own volition. G'day, Jesse. How's it going? Welcome. Pugamus Maximus. Haven't seen you for a while. G'day. But yeah, the magpies apparently have a very good memory for human faces and stuff. So if you feed them, then they know that you're not a threat and they'll remember you. And are less likely to attack you and put holes in your scalp. But yeah, just so far the only one I've heard during this stream is has been the crow, the black crow, the Australian crow that was being mentioned previously. Wow, I'm being spun out by this mouse. It's going all over the shop. Maybe my battery's about to die and it's fritzing. Anyway. Yes, Mike, it is getting very chilly over here. Thankfully, I am still like my winter is not a harsh winter. You know, the cold times means put a second shirt on. But yeah, we've had a little bit of misty type drizzly rain, and it's a little bit overcast, which obviously does help maintain a reasonable temperature instead of letting it get too freezing. Oh, that one, if you just heard that one, that's a Lewin's honey eater. Sometimes they call them rifle birds, I think, but Lewin's honey eater is what that one is. Very plain but pretty little bird. Yeah, Lewin's honey eater. Very nice. Very nice. Get a few of them around, and they are quite noisy. Well, you're NZ, aren't you, Nadia? NZ. But yeah, I've gone with shorts for this episode, and pretty much as soon as I started, I thought potentially I should have some tracky dacks on because my calf muscles are quite cold right now. Anyway, I think I have a guest ready to come up. I may need some kind of visual confirmation. Good enough. Good enough confirmation.
What's that?
Yeah. You're in Victoria, Nadia, right? The virus state. Yes, many viruses. Hello, Scungy. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay.
What the devil's been going on in your world today?
Not very much. I didn't go drawing. I just am at home.
Yes. Well, that has become quite evident because you're at home and not here beside me.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
And I wasn't really sure because I've been rearranging the house, but I haven't finished, so it's like in half rearranged state. And so I'm in this sort of corner over here, and my computer's like pretty far. If I sit up, I'm too far away from my headphones. But it's all right.
I wonder, do they make extension cords for the microphone and headphone combinations? I know they do just for stereo headphones, but the microphone doodad might add a little bit of extra technical know-how for the extension cord. This mouse is driving me batty.
Well, they've just got like, you know, extra bits of cord that you can add on.
But that's what I'm saying. Do they have that for the microphone and headphone combinations? Because I've got plenty of them for normal headphones.
Well, what's the difference?
Huh?
What would the difference be?
Well, the difference is on a normal stereo headphones, you've just got two plastic stripes around the post, but when there's a microphone involved, there's a third stripe as well. Yeah, we got drive-ins, Tropico. Not sure where the nearest one to here is. Probably Brisbane, or I know there used to be one sort of between Gold Coast and Brisbane, but I don't think it functions anymore. Do you know where our nearest drive-in is?
Well, I don't really, but at Bogangar Cabarita, they've got like a big wall painted up for outdoor cinema there with a car park. But I don't know if they show movies there.
Seems like it might be designed for that kind of process.
Looks like it.
Yeah, yeah. What are you going to watch, Tropico? Under Siege. I hear that's popular.
But yeah. I'm always concerned about that thing since you were saying about having to use your car speakers to hear the movie and battery and stuff.
Having to use what?
Your car speakers. Remember when we were talking about it before?
Oh, yeah, right. And potentially leaving the drive-in or not leaving the drive-in with a flat battery. G'day, Lonnie.
Or even just
Terry.
like if it's not good for your battery to be just draining it.
Yeah.
It's not what it's for.
Yes, that's true, especially for, 2 hours at a time. I would imagine something like The Irishman or Zack Snyder's Justice League remake would not be a good movie to see at the drive-in because you'd need 3 spare car batteries. I think the handle of your cup has fallen off, love.
It did fall off. I knocked it off on the floor.
So I don't know if last time you and I spoke about art on this stream, did we talk to people about your victory in the competition that you went in? Have we spoken about that on stream?
No, because we didn't talk about anything art last week at all.
The week before you didn't know, did you? That's right. We went up on the Saturday after that. So anyway, Sarah had a piece of art in a gallery exhibition and she won her section. Oh, hang on, I have a thing for that. Won her section. Which was awesome. It was great.
That was a nice surprise.
It was a very nice surprise. And now I believe you've been asked to go and speak as well. I think it was my battery.
Potentially, yeah.
And do you think that's something that you would do, is go and speak in front of a crowd?
I don't know. As you know, that is one of my least favorite things to do. Just talking in general can be quite difficult. But, I might, partly I'm thinking could be a good opportunity and it's good. Eventually I need to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah,
I'll never get over my stage fright if I don't force myself out there a bit.
And potentially an occasion like that is a what do you call it? A good opportune moment to have a crack at something like that because you're talking in front of people for a really positive reason that's already making you feel good. So hopefully those good feels will allay those public speaking nerves kind of stuff.
Maybe. I think one of the good things is that there will be multiple people talking, and so it'll only be a little window for me, because ultimately if I do end up getting myself together for my own exhibition, I probably need to talk. The last one, I just kind of said, I really don't want to talk, but thanks everyone, and didn't talk, and just let other people do the talking for me.
Yeah.
But I think that in the long run, I have to actually give some words if I'm going to do that.
Yes. Nadia says, it's definitely good to do things out of your comfort zone. Because the more you do something outside of your comfort zone, the more it doesn't be a discomfort zone. Wow, I've really got all the words in order today, haven't I? They're on fire. And what else?
Well, so I mean, that's it for that one. That was a nice little thing. Oh, I did end up putting my little thing in a frame on my shelf here. I wasn't going to, but I did.
As in your little victory certificate thing. Yeah, nice. Of course you should.
And then I've entered 2 more drawings in another one that's like it's a bit exciting because it seems
can I I'm gonna have to go and find a new battery for this mouse. Can you talk to the people about this current one that you're entering into and who's judging it and whatnot?
Yeah, okay. I'll try.
Right, I'll be back in a sec. Also, you too, fella.
But yeah, so this one that I've just entered is called Art of the Imagination, or Art of Imagination, actually. And so I thought that probably fits quite well with my style. So I've put 2 drawings in, but it's being judged by this guy called Patrick Jones, and he's like pretty epic fantasy artist. And I don't really think that I've got like a chance for winning. It's just for the experience and exposure and stuff like that. But I'm also kind of, it's a bit cool that he'll get to see my drawings. And depending if we go to the presentations and stuff, might get to meet him, and any stuff like that would be pretty cool.
So he's a local Australian artist, is he?
I think he's American, but I'm not sure. That's what I think. I could definitely be wrong because I haven't done deep diving research into his past. I've just seen his art and stuff.
So you're already familiar with his work. It wasn't this that brought him to your attention. Is that what you mean? You'd heard of him prior to.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you showed me 2 pictures, and they were definitely very nice.
They're very good. Like, he's like beautiful, really good, amazing work.
G'day, Mickham. Sorry, I was away from the screen, I think, when you rolled in. Welcome. Legend says if you put 7 different flowers under the pillow the night before Midsummer Day, you'll meet the love of your life. Legends say a lot of things, don't they, Mickham? Legends say that Corvus Oskin is here as well to talk about Sarah's art.
What happened?
Did I caught you unaware because I didn't play your standard applause introduction.
Oh, right. Yeah. There we go.
Hi, how's it going?
I got kind of distracted. I started falling asleep.
That'll happen.
I'm just tired. It's not you. It's me.
It might be me later falling asleep.
It's really hot. It was really hot out today, and the drive home was just, 2.5 hours of the bumper to bumper grind.
Yeah, gross. That sounds hideous.
It's like, what is going on? But luckily, the car crashes all looked like innocuous would be a reasonable word. You know what I mean? Like,
I do. Yeah.
Our cars are broken, but we're okay. So, yeah. At least there's that. We had that good news going for us that nobody was, there's no dead people out there. So that's good.
Just not on that piece of road. G'day, Buffalo Photo. How's it going? So where did we get to with your new 2 entries, Scungy?
Oh,
What's-
well, I entered them. I put them in. I'm not sure about, like, I'm not 100% on my
on your
decisions.
selections?
Yeah. Because, because of the really fitting theme, it felt like there was a lot of choices that I had.
Yeah, true.
But
Do you feel that when you entered into the one that you won, were you more confident of your selection then?
well, I felt really good about my selection, and I felt happy with it. But again, I was coming from a place 100% of not thinking I was even being in the running for winning anything. I was just confident that it was a piece that would be able to just be on its own there without any other stuff that I had to reference in with it. Like, I felt like it was, and I was happy with it representing me on its own. So I felt really good about it in a, that's just a picture to show and not thinking that it would be in the running for, winning, especially seeing like the amount of detail and realism in lots of the other drawings in the like the section for the drawings, and seeing mine, I sort of really just didn't think that it had chance.
I think they were
I don't
very
know if
up
my
on the
ego could I don't know if my ego could handle going into a art competition these days. Sorry for interrupting there.
That's okay.
and you mean if you didn't win, your ego couldn't handle it?
I think either way.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
I think like I would be all like, "Oh God, no one's gonna like it," which might.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all have to wrestle with a little bit of ego here and there every once in a while, right? But then if I won, I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I could deal with that either. Like I must be the best ever, right? Because it could go two ways. But that,
Well, I think when it was,
I think
when
what
it
I'm
was
what I'm
announced
more to
that Sarah won.
more to what I was saying is that like I don't think I could
Yeah.
handle even entering at this point. You're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can do it.
I really struggled with the idea of entering, that it made me feel like I'm putting this piece of myself forward because I think that it's so good that it could win, and it's, and I felt like really embarrassed about that idea that I will be seen as somebody who thinks that they are valid. I don't know why that makes me feel like that, but it really does. Like, I really get that feeling a lot.
Dude, I respect that so much. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, my ego can't handle it either way. Like, I would have that vibe. I don't know. It's just too many feels for me right now, man. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I just. So I'm glad that you by proxy have entered.
Yeah.
Out of the three of us, at least we got to 33%. Unless the beast shows up tonight, and then we'll drop all the way down to 25%. But still, that's a good showing either way.
Still,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, when I won, when they called
I
out the
appreciate
thing,
your effort. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't know how to do that though.
That's all right. I hear that.
I'm into it. That's all. Okay. What were you saying? Sorry.
I felt like I was bursting into flames when I won, and after I had to go up and accept the thing and come back, it was really hard to just stand in the crowd and not just run far, far away.
Oh my God. You know what? I've won stuff before, and I you know what? Like, I wish I could give you a story where I was like, oh yeah, I went up and just rocked the mic and everybody clapped for me and everything, and it was totally normal. I swear. It's just like you go up there and you're like, I'll have the thing now. Now I'm gonna go away. Thanks, Mom. Like, gotta go. Weird. You guys are weird. Don't give me awards anymore because I'm weird.
Most people ended up like that. I think No, that's right. The first dude that won was claiming the prize for his daughter, wasn't it?
For his
And
daughter,
he gave a speech, but I don't think any of the actual artists were that confident. They didn't want to do any
Yeah.
speeches really. except
That's
for
right.
maybe a little quick nod and a thank you everyone, or it's an honor, something like that. They spat out 2 or 3 words and then
Whereas,
skulked
like
back to where they were
the
hiding
used
amongst the
car
crowd.
salesman dad, like was giving you a big spiel.
Who's that? Oh, the first dude.
No, I was saying that like the dad of the daughter was giving you a huge speech.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a reason for that. He's obviously very proud of his girl, but you know,
I was
it's
just
not the
I was envisioning
not-
like a used car salesman up there just going to town telling you all about how great his daughter is, you know.
yeah, it kind of was a little bit like that.
I think, though, that because it was the first award and because he was accepting it on her behalf, he felt like he had to, you know,
Embellish
give
a lot.
some words, you know. And then I think that, yeah, everybody else just like opted to not say any words.
Yeah.
Right.
But so if he had have come up after everyone else, he might not have had so many words. But because he was the first one, he didn't, you know,
Yeah,
have anything else to
Giving him a lot of
reference it.
credit. You're giving this guy a lot of credit. He deserves none of it. He deserves
G'day,
none of it. This
John.
is the worst person that's ever existed. He sucks. I hate him. We all hate him. He's the worst ever. Yeah, we know it. We know the real story. You're just being nice.
putting that good karma out there.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense, though. It does make sense. I think if Olivia won an award someday and I had to go get it for her, I'd be up there. I think I would be much more liberal with my speech, you know, than if it was for myself. Try to maintain some kind of humility, right? Although every time I'm on a stream, everybody says I talk too much, so I don't know.
Well, you know, that's subjective, isn't it?
Subjective.
So, Scungy, did you want to show the people the pictures that you're entering into this next one?
Maybe.
While we're talking art and stuff.
Um,
And while we're here too, I'm getting like laggy stuff as well. Can I just get confirmation from both of you two and potentially the audience as well that it's coming through loud and clear, please? G'day, Ness. How's it going?
I've been getting fine audio from you, but you have been really glitchy and unclear the whole time. But Corvus looks pretty clear to me.
Yeah. Otherwise, you've been fine for me, so that works as far as I'm concerned.
Cool.
There was the one day our whole stream was scuffed, and then like somebody mentioned that they were like, well, remember when it was like the stream was completely screwed up, and then we were trying to figure out what was going on, but it turned out the upload was fine. So it was like, huh, yeah, all right.
And so you get that 15-minute patch in the middle of us trying to sort out technical difficulties and stuff.
But it turned out the whole thing uploaded fine. So, you know, if anybody's having a problem out there, just come back later. Just watch the replay, you know. That's normal, right?
Yeah, no, I still think it's just when I use the green screen, it's to blame.
No, that could just be the computer trying to process a green screen live.
Yeah.
You know.
G'day, Blake. How's it going? Yeah, Blake watched the replay. He saw all the shenanigans.
That's right.
So you're going to show us these pictures, Scungy?
Well, do you want them? I'm not sure. Hang on, I have to take my earphones out though.
You know, we've talked them up so much now, we might as well see them, I suppose. Makes perfect sense, and that gives me an opportunity to put you on put her on full screen, because obviously she can't hear me right now. Then I can just go and do a wee and make like I've been here the whole time. Hang on. Let me solo you up.
Uh-oh. We're soloed.
Talk us through it and all that. Oh, she can't hear us anyway, can she? Can you hear us? No.
I don't know. I don't know if she can or not.
Well, she took her headphones out, so I'm assuming they still plugged into the computer.
That makes sense. Nice. Got our own private show with all these
I think that's them.
internet people here.
So, no, I don't know if that was adequate showing. But that's what they were. That's what I ended up choosing.
Awesome.
I'm all alone.
And so wait, so I think I missed the beginning of the story, but did you win an
Yeah, I
illustrious
won.
prize?
I did. I got first place in my section.
Nice.
So yeah, that it was
Well.
pretty nice. You know.
You know, I got to tell you something, and I don't know if I want to admit it or not. You know, could be a bit much, but believe it or not, I did not win an award today.
Oh no.
I know.
That
It's
is
hard
shocking.
to believe.
Yeah, it is.
I did not win an award today. But you did. Did you win a big pile of cash? Did they bring you a wheelbarrow?
A small pile of cash, but I don't get it till the end of the whole exhibition.
Ah, damn it!
I know. But yeah.
Now I'm upset for you on your behalf.
Yeah. That's all right. I didn't expect it, so it's just gonna be a bonus, and I can use it then to frame some more pictures. So
That's so optimistic and nice.
Hmm.
I think I would rage on them because I think it would be funny.
G'day, Backwards Fish Room. I think I forgot to say hi to you before. My apologies.
How's a fish room backwards?
Just with the letters. Hasifmore.
Oh, okay.
It's quite crafty, isn't it?
That is crafty. You've crafted yourself right into a matter of craftiness. It's unbelievable.
No awards. While I've got two such open-minded humans on the panel with me at the moment, I read an interesting story about an Australian weightlifter who's going to be competing in the Olympics, who's a transgender person.
Uh-huh.
A man has transitioned to a woman and is competing at Olympic level in weightlifting. Thoughts?
Okay. My thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, the reality is like if your testosterone level is cycled down to an acceptable level and you've been tested like crazy like they do in the Olympics, who cares? Because one of the big things with transitioning, especially from male to female, is that a lot of people will be like, well, you've had all these years of training as a man, blah, blah, blah. But the realistic thing is that like when a man loses their testosterone, whether it's on purpose or not, you really lose a ton of muscular.
Competing as female buffalo.
I mean, if you're like one of these jokers that goes onto TikTok or Instagram making videos of themselves lifting weights and then posting that you've transitioned to you're a female now, that's just nonsense. It's just nonsensically stupid. But if you're in a real competition like the Olympics, you're going to be tested the years leading up to it, as was found out by traditionally, biologically female runner here in Oregon who got popped for. Apparently, she claims to have eaten a burrito that had some kind of steroidal substance in it or something. She claims to have eaten a burrito. That's what caused her drug test to pop here.
Wow.
So you are tested a lot when you come down to the Olympics. If it comes down to testing hormone level, that's pretty normal because we've been doing that for boxing, all combat sports, football, baseball they've been testing for steroids forever and hormones and stuff. With the HGH, like guys that play baseball, they've been taking crazy amounts of HGH, which, it turns out, that's a cheating, So,
but it's
one of those
vastly
things
improved the game.
that, like, if the experts are testing and know what's going on, right? Because I don't have a doctorate in human biology and whatnot, right? So if the expert consensus on the panel of doctors and whatnot that say like, oh, this person can compete here, can compete there, I would generally, on a 90%, 95% of the time, just say, yeah, okay, that's fine. I know that a lot of people out there have problems with like combat sports. But I mean, realistically, like the weightlifting, I don't know, like how important realistically is that of a sport, like I get it. A lot of people like weightlifting and powerlifting and all that kind of stuff. It's great. But I don't know what gets ruined by the society of like somebody that's transitioning from male to female or female to male, right? Which we never hear about female to male. We never hear about that. It never shows up in the news. Oh my God, she's transitioned to a man, right? We never hear about that. But we only hear about men to women, right?
Oh no, we heard about Elliot. What's her name? Elliot Page. First topless photo the other day as a man.
She's
but yeah, I think
that's
not
an
in
actor.
The
that's an actor.
Certainly not in the sports field.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that's an actor. It doesn't.
Yeah.
What
I was being mildly facetious.
I'm sorry. Like, is he going to act differently? I personally don't care. If they're in good films or bad films, I'm gonna judge them based on that. Now, if they do something untowards to other people, then I will judge them on that. Like, I don't know, Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein. Two solid examples right there who've done things untowards to other people. I judge them for that. But you're not harming anybody. That's the reality. My opinion is that, sex has scientific background to it. Gender is a social construct, right? We only acknowledge gender as people, right? Like, it's a gender role. But if a man stays home and takes care of the house and the kids, he doesn't suddenly become a female or whatever. It's the gender that he identifies as. Is that like, I'm a man, but I stay home and take care of the kids. Okay, that doesn't matter. He could wear a dress or whatever while he's doing it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But if somebody like wants to be addressed in a certain way, then I don't see a problem with doing that. And as far as like the Olympics go, like how many people have actually come out of the Olympics and done really all that much for society?
I think it might be a dying competition.
I don't see it lasting all that much longer, right? And a lot of people say like, well, it's a goal for young athletes to work their way up to, right? What's that?
Yeah, sorry, I lost you cracking up in my nonsense. So I was saying to Scungy, asking what she thought about as someone who was a man 5 years ago competing against women in sports.
I don't really know that I'm the right person to ask because I don't care about sports. So, like, you know, I mean, on a basic level, if you put that to me, then I am interested in the whole reason why they separate and have male and female, and whether or not your current level of hormones is what's the only factor in play as to whether you're male or female on that level that they're judging for which part,
Which gender
you
you
know,
are.
which side of the competition you can be in. You know, obviously I can understand the question that, you know, it does seem potentially unfair, you know, if there can be a physical advantage, because I mean that's the whole thing why it's separated, right? Because people say men have physical advantage over women, so we don't put them to compete against each other, because that's an argument that you and me have had before, Mikey. You know, when I say argument, like, you know, discussed it and nutted out, that sort of like idea. So, you know, I mean, I think that it must be relevant to people, you know, but I just don't care. Personally, I don't care.
Right.
I suppose a good
I
one
think
is
so there is scientific standard based on that men do have a physical advantage over women for a lot of things, right? A lot of physicality things. Generally speaking, a lot of men have advantage over a lot of women, like to a severe degree, right? And like it's easily illustrated just from the social side of things that like if a man breaks into a woman's house, like that's a much bigger issue, right, than a woman breaking into a man's house, right? It's like it's immediately it's immediately physically dangerous for the woman that a man has broken in there, right? And you know, as a society, we all pretty much agree on that. It's not like, hey, let's have an argument about a dude breaking in. It should be fine or it should be equal or whatever, right? But
yeah,
you know, and the reason
I
for
get
that
what
is
you're
that
saying.
like there is scientific, you know, men are generally stronger, taller, faster than women. Like it's because of testosterone. It's because of the evolution of men versus women, right? Like it just kind of is. So I mean that's why they're separated, because the unfortunate part would be from all of the records that we have that if men and women were competing at the same games at the same time, just men would win every time, always, like all the time.
I still think it would be interesting to just add a third category: anyone who just wants to go it against everyone.
Right.
Right. And just like let people, sure, men might win it all of the time, but then it also opens the way for anyone who's transgender to have no qualms about entering and simply being, you know, have just their own
Just
strengths.
able to do their sports.
Yeah.
I
it
think
would be interesting.
Ninja Warrior is the perfect
Well, I mean,
perfect
like
thing for that. They all run the same course.
right. Like
Yeah.
a good example though would be the NFL. Right? Women aren't banned from playing in the NFL. They're
They
not
just don't
banned
get
from
picked.
playing.
Eh?
They're not banned from playing in the NFL. Women can play in the NFL. None ever have. And you know, some people have argued with me in the past that like, well, it's a systemic thing because the women don't get a scholarship to go to college to become in the college and then get in the NFL, blah blah blah. And you're like, yeah, well, that's the unfortunate side of it is that the men will generally grow so much bigger, stronger, and faster than women that like there's never really a shot for women to actively compete in a sport where you're literally just, are you faster and stronger and know where to play your part in the game better than everybody else, you know? So that's the big thing. Is like, women aren't banned from the NFL. They're allowed to play. If you're good enough, you could go out there and play right now. And it's a big reason that like track and field is separated. It's like there aren't any women that have ever beat the records of the men's records, right?
Oh, g'day,
like
Nevaeh. Or
What's that?
Backwards Heaven. And I'm just saying g'day to Backwards Heaven. And we've also got Backwards Senobt here as well. G'day, T-Bones. Who else did I miss?
T-Bone's Fisher
Anyone?
says, I don't know
GRB,
about that.
g'day,
I watched
GRB.
a female Marine beat up a male Marine that was on YouTube. So the reason that would be notable is that is extraordinarily rare. That's why you probably saw it on YouTube, and it probably had millions of views because it's extraordinarily rare. But are there 6'6", 250-pound, extremely strong women out there? Yeah. Are there 5'4", 110-pound, extremely weak men out there? Yeah, those exist,
Quite
and
a few.
sometimes they get matched up in the world, and sometimes something that is not normal happens, right? Like a woman beating up a man, and it does happen, sure. But if you're walking down a dark alley in the middle of the night in a part of town that you know is fairly problematic, and you see a 250-pound, 6'6" man walking towards you, or a 250-pound, 6'6" woman walking towards you, which would technically be the exact same size human and everything. The only difference would be one's a female and one's a male. You would respond differently to the male versus the female, right? In
theory, yeah.
Well, I mean, this happens, right? Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Scungy says, I would, and that's right. Because generally speaking, like, is it possible for women to sexually assault men? Yes, it does happen. But if I came in here and I said there was a sexual assault at work, what's your immediate thought? Like, the immediate thought is a man did something to a woman, right?
In the copy room.
Right. So
I still think that the question there isn't about, whether men or women are stronger. It's about other things about them, not about their ability to have muscle or have physical skill and strength. I think that's the point.
G'day,
That even a really strong woman with lots and lots of skills and lots of strength is not, has other things about her that makes her less daunting and scary to meet in a back alley than a man who has all that strength.
Right.
Because a man may have more likely to have an intention and the ability to carry through with that intention, and the woman is less likely to have that intention, despite having the physical ability to carry it through.
Well, it's true. But the reason that I was bringing that up is that there are distinct differences between men and women, and one of them is that men generally, and this is to the extreme, have larger skeletal structures, larger bone mass, larger muscular mass, all that stuff. And when you're talking about, on a competition level, like, yeah, there is a difference. But if somebody is deemed by the doctors to compete in a sport event, I'm going to go with what the doctors' consensus is.
Well, they're only operating within the regulations anyway, so yeah, it's not a bad theory.
I mean, I guess that is the thing, though, because if someone has been born and grown male with that strongest, skeleton, with all of the other elements, then even if their hormones are now changed, are they on the same level? They're just going, this thing measures with this thing, so we deem that those things are the same. Like, I can't just go with the doctors because I don't know what they're measuring and judging by.
Well, right.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert, but what I've read up on the subject is that there's a period of time where your hormonal levels have to be within a certain zone range, right? And that applies for men also. You can't be taking a bunch of steroids and stuff. And the reason for that is that testosterone will, if you're a man or a woman, will give you more muscle. You will grow more muscle and stuff, right? Your recovery times will be faster. You have more oxygen saturation, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But if somebody has transitioned from male to female and has been tested over that period of time to be testing the same way that a woman is, you're going to lose muscle mass. You're going to lose the ability to recover. You're going to lose all of the advantages of being a man. And by the way, it's the same thing that would happen to a man who gets testicular cancer and has to have his balls removed, and he doesn't have a testosterone source anymore. We found that out the hard way in the past when testicles had to be removed, right? And they found out, like, oh, this man just wasted away. What's that all about? Maybe we should look into that and maybe figure that out. And if you're a man and you lose all your testosterone, obviously you see stuff on TV and stuff where it's like, are you losing your testosterone? Which is not the same as eliminating it and replacing it with the estrogen. But, that's the thing is that, like, men that lose their testosterone will eventually get set back, lose all that muscle mass and stuff. So that's generally been the point from the medical field and the sport doctors and the sport scientists and all that kind of stuff. Is that's what they're pointing towards, more than just like this is an unfair competition, and that is that they're going, like, by this metric we can test and say that, like, oh, this is fair. Okay.
And
I think sorry, Scungy, go.
That's okay. Well, I just think that it does open up this, time where we're also being aware of, that it's not just male and female, and that people actually can have real mixes of their hormones just naturally.
Right.
And so then where does that put them in terms of competing in a sport? How do they, where do they get to fit in? And I guess it just leads us to looking at the sections and the way that they're separated. And maybe it's time for some shuffling on that level to accommodate all the kinds of people that there are, and not just two kinds of people. Because as
absolutely.
we're becoming more and more aware that there aren't just two kinds of people.
Well, I think bringing up.
The thing is, I agree. I agree with that. But the one thing that I do definitely want to bring up in this conversation that I wasn't really prepared for is that the Olympics and the Olympic committees and all that shit are making this be a thing so that we don't think about how big of a waste of resources the Olympics is. Okay, how much it completely fucks the local economy. How much construction goes into building all these stadiums that are then vacant after
displacement of locals, as Rio
all of the production costs, the hoopla, the nonsense, the tax money that gets dumped into the Olympics. Because people are vying for the Olympics to be in their country because it's supposed to, I don't know. Do we know where Japan is? Does anybody have an idea where Japan is? No, you know what? I didn't. But now that the Olympics are happening, I know. Oh, I'm all about it. Right.
That's right. It's over there in that.
The thing is that, like, that's my issue. I don't care if a man transitions to a woman and wins a weightlifting medal. I don't care. But the tens of billions of dollars that's wasted on, I don't know. How about build some houses for homeless people? How about start developing some of these areas instead of just going in, having the Olympics, and then leaving a bunch of crap behind, a bunch of garbage, a bunch of, like, how much concrete could you, how many buildings could you build that were useful that out of just the concrete that's poured into these stadiums? Like, how much how much carbon was poured into our atmosphere to collect all of that concrete, right? To dig it all out of the ground, to process it all, to do all that stuff. Like, that's the problem. But they want us all to sit around and bitch about whether or not this guy's got one he's got one testicle, maybe he's got half a testicle, maybe he's got half a penis, maybe he has half a vagina growing out of his head. Like, who cares? But the waste that goes into doing the Olympics is what they're trying to obfuscate from. Because at the very least, at least the NFL does something positive on a regular basis, on an annual basis for the city that they're in, right? The Olympics comes in once every 4 years and just destroys the place that it's at. Like a perfect example, and I'd have to look this up. I was off the top of my head. Like the Atlanta Olympics, there's a bunch of derelict buildings and nonsense and crap that was built down in Atlanta, Georgia, right? I believe like the World Cup was in Brazil, and there's just a shitload of stadiums down in Brazil with like, they're just overrun with like, weird animals are living in them that aren't even supposed to be there, but they're taking over because the environment isn't suited for any of the other animals to live where, and then people aren't even using them anymore. It's just, to me, it's mind bending how much resource gets dumped in there. And so somebody could watch a track and field event that they've never watched ever before in their entire life for 28 seconds on TV, right? And that's
and then all of a sudden this one race is the most important thing ever,
right? But then every newspaper will be telling you about how, is this person cheating at the weight at the I pick up heavy stuff event, so I mean, that's
you said you were unprepared for this conversation, but you basically took the conversation to exactly where I wanted it to go. Okay. Is the Olympics a waste of money and time? And we got there. We got there indeed. It's almost like you read my mind.
Oh, it was just if you're on the sane side of the fence, then it would be like I was reading your mind.
Maybe. So I totally agree that I think it's a let's just get back to world championships in your individual sports and these massive, events of Olympics and stuff that cost not only financially but socially and I said economically, financially, it's the same thing, isn't it? There's so many other costs to having an Olympics, right. And generally the return isn't necessarily worth it.
Environmentally, I think that was the other one you were thinking.
That was it. Yeah, exactly. So you are reading my mind.
That's right. I'm in there. I'm deep inside your mind. Yeah. I mean, that's my point. That's always been my point. Is that like all this other crap is they're just trying to distract you from the real problem, and the real problem is just this monumental waste. Just how insanely wasteful this is, and it's like okay, here's a salient example that most of us have encountered in our day-to-day lives. If you're watching this show, you probably live in the modern world, right? Because you're on the internet and you're sitting there on your phone and you're probably like, eating a sandwich or something. That if you're watching this show, you've encountered this in your day-to-day life, and that's advertising that's directed at you, that it's your responsibility to save the environment by recycling, right? Like, that's your job. Job one is not littering and making sure that you recycle all of your stuff. Oh? So the 3 water bottles that I use this year, that's the game changer, right? But it doesn't have anything to, but it none of the responsibility falls on the company that created the 3 billion water bottles, right? Like, none of it falls on that. The company that has like basically an endless supply of resources to maybe implement something that would be better for the environment on a whole. It's actually just all these individual people's job to, like, I don't know, figure out where the laundry detergent bottle is supposed to go, and it turns out that you can't put it in the recycling thing at your house, so you're supposed to drive 6 miles to the special repository to put the laundry detergent thing into a place where it might be recycled, but you don't really know, because in the United States, more often than not, up until like 3 years ago, when you threw something into a recycling container, it was actually just crushed in a compactor, put in a shipping container, and sent to China. And then China would bury it in a hole in the ground because they accepted money for the garbage that was sent there. And they would just stick it in the ground because who cares? We got paid. What's up now? Now we move on, right? Up until just a little while ago, about 3 years ago, when Trump decided to start whatever weird interactions he was having with President Xi, otherwise known as Winnie the Pooh, and they decided to say that they will not allow you to import or export recyclables to China unless it has less than 0.03% food waste in it. So the amount that would have to be cleaned here in the United States would make it physically or monetarily no longer feasible to clean all those plastics and then send them over to China, right? So basically what they did is they said, well, hey, if the recyclables are too dirty, you can't send them to us anymore. We just can't buy them anymore. Mainly because they filled so many holes in the ground with American and international garbage that they ran out of holes, right? They're like, we don't have any holes. We don't have any holes anymore, and we already cashed all those checks. So what are we doing? So it's stuff like that they will say, they'll create a large ad campaign to tell everyone at home it's your fault. It's your fault that you needed to wash your laundry while you go to work 60 hours a week and have to commute, 2 hours each way to your job, and you got kids at home and you got all this stuff to do so that you could hopefully like pay your mortgage and keep your lights on and you can do all this stuff. But hey, you know what? There's no healthcare, so screw it. But it's all good. It's your fault because you didn't figure out where a specific bottle needed to be recycled because, well, regulation says that there's like 72 different types of plastics, and the only responsibility they have is to put a tiny little marker on the bottom of it that says like 1 through 70, and you go like, oh, this one's a 32. I guess maybe I need to drive to California and deposit it there or something. Is that going to waste a lot of gas? I don't know, but it's my fault because I watched the news and they said it was my fault. You see how like these are the problems I have problems with. Like I don't care that somebody out there lifted some heavy weights. I don't care. I just don't care.
Take it easy, Nadia. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about recycling in this country is I think from day one when they started doing it, we were all encouraged to clean out, rinse anything that goes in the recycling, because if it turns up at the recycling plant and it's got a little bit of food waste or something in it, they just send it off to landfill anyway. So,
well, what's weird?
Australians,
how about companies aren't allowed to sell stuff in things that isn't biodegradable? How about that?
Well, Australia's we've
oh, sorry, you're not allowed to sell that. You're not allowed to sell it unless it's in a biodegradable container.
We've had some laws passed recently where they're banning lots of single-use plastic stuff. Not only plastic bags, but the plastic drinking straws. Now they've moved on to cotton buds, Q-tips, you guys call them over there. They used to always be a paper stalk, and then they changed to plastic stalks, but now they're banning them as well. So we're back to the paper stalks. Lots of good movement forward.
Right.
But again, it's the kind of situation where you really need education's one thing, sure, but then you've got to expect or assume that all of the humans are going to respond to that education.
Right.
And,
right. But why don't the corporations have any responsibility?
Yeah, that's definitely
why don't they have any responsibility for the product that they're selling and profiting off of? Why don't they have any responsibility? I mean, and I'm not necessarily asking you that specific question. It's sort of rhetorical, but why aren't the companies that are selling a dangerous product responsible for it at all, even remotely? You know, basically the only thing that's ever happened in the U.S. as far as a company selling a product was eventually the tobacco companies had to pay out because they knew that their products created lung cancer, right? Or made people get lung cancer and die. But it took I don't know, it took like 50 years for something like that to happen. And by the way, they're still in business. They're still in business just as much as they were before, and now they just sell them overseas to people that like don't know, right?
And
But it's like, but why aren't the corporations responsible for any of the stuff that they sell like that? You know, and you start to talk about like, well, you know, people don't have to buy the dangerous stuff, and it's like, what do you mean, like food? You know, people don't have to buy food. Okay, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Catch a gazelle with my teeth? Like, what are they talking about? Like, you ever try to catch a deer with your hands? Good luck.
Tobacco is a really, really good example because, you know, the governments thought, oh, I don't know what it's like over there, but down here, tobacco is very expensive now because the government introduced all these extra taxes and stuff,
right?
Which were apparently supposed to go to the tobacco companies, but all the tobacco companies did was raise their prices, and because they knew their product was still going to get purchased, so the government gets its taxes, the tobacco companies gets its profits, and the end consumers are still getting their cancer and whatnot. So that sort of stuff hasn't really solved the problem. Education is still the key, you know.
That's true, but you guys also have national health care.
Absolutely, yeah. It is kind of a bonus as well.
I mean, and that's the problem here is that you're talking about a population that is so large that I believe 500,000 people a year or something like that die from lung cancer and stuff. You know, and so you start to think about it on the scale of like, well, they got this billions and billions of dollars from the tobacco settlements, right? That's supposed to go to like help people with lung cancer. But, you know, if treating one person costs like $1.5 million or something, that just gets chewed up and is gone, you know. So you hopefully better get your lung cancer in like January or something. I don't know, like what, you know, before the end of the year. I mean, I don't know. Hey, sorry, you got it in October. It's all used up for this year. So good luck out there in the desert or wherever wherever you're going. I don't know, wherever you're going to die. Maybe an ice flow. Oh my God, Vicky's breaking stuff in the background. What happened? What happened, babe? Are you okay?
Yeah, I changed my background because I switched it off before just to see if my jittery, laggy nonsense would stop, but it was still laggy and shit. So I thought I'll chuck a background up to see if it makes it go even worse. But I think my internet's just been really shit the last few weeks, so I think I'm just struggling with internet. I don't think it's even the computer, as much as I'd like to blame it and get a new one. But yeah, Sarah's going to have to win a lot more art competitions before I get a computer, I think.
As T-Bones has a point here. This is, yeah, but it's still a person's choice to do as you like. As long as you're not hurting anyone or destroying anyone's property, we should be allowed to do what we like. So that's the question. Like, but is the process of you living harming other people, right? So you buy food at the grocery store, that the packaging is supplied by a corporation that will not break down for 1,000 years. So you're literally affecting the lives of people that aren't even born yet, right? So do we take them into consideration? Like, who do we take into consideration as to who we're
affecting?
Actions are conflicting with, right?
Yeah.
Like, who are we affecting, right? So it's like the idea that, oh, well, I just walk around and I do whatever I like, and I never really affect anybody else because I'm just doing what I like. Well, maybe you smoke cigarettes for 50 years, and now you're occupying a space in the hospital with an extreme amount of resources being spent on you to treat your lung cancer, and now somebody who tripped and fell and hit their head can't get into the hospital because you're in there occupying the space, right? So are you affecting their well-being that way, or is it just, well, I guess that's just the way that it goes, right? So all of these things, it's the butterfly effect. Everything affects everything else, and if we're talking about the realm of you get to do whatever you like and it's not affecting somebody else, well, somebody owns that corporation. So is that person responsible for all of the pollution that they've created because they're affecting the lives of a ton of people, right? That's realistically the question that we all kind of have to grapple with, whether or not we're going to hold companies that are knowingly polluting, right?
G'day, Rounded
And
Rob.
how many people's lives that they're affecting, right? So, it's not a matter of placing the blame. It's a matter of like holding accountable for what corporations that have a huge amount of resource and availability to develop technologies to do a better job, right?
Yeah, I think
could be doing
a large issue with a lot of humans is that they've been reared to live in the here and now and not necessarily consider what effects they might have on the future or what effects they're suffering from the past. They're only experiencing the here and now and have no consideration for other timelines.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned timelines. It's almost like it's a link to talk about Loki.
Yeah. Dude, that show is so good. It's like 2 episodes in, and I have like just I don't know. I don't have a better way to put it. I have a huge boner for that show. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty good.
It's so good.
I like it.
It's like 2 episodes in, and I feel like I've gone on like some wild adventure journey of like, hey, what's gonna happen next? Oh my god, it's the end of the show. What happened? And I'm like, and then I got super depressed because I thought it was a movie. Right. And I thought it was the end of a movie. And then I'm like, wait, there's another movie next week.
I need closure.
Right. Like, I feel like The Mandalorian has all the elements that I like also. Right. I definitely had the vibe like when an episode of The Mandalorian went done, like the spaghetti Western will be back next week. Right. Like it has that bonanza vibe, you know what I mean, where you're like, oh, this is great. But the Loki thing is like, I almost have this like wild depression when the credits come on because I'm like, the movie's over and that's the end of the movie, guys. And then so far I've had to remind myself twice already that like there's another one next week. Like I don't have to wait 3 years for the next one to come out. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think the absolute worst thing about the show is that it's coming out on Wednesday nights. So it's like in a few hours, my time, I get to watch Loki, and then I've got to wait 6.5 days to talk about it on the stream with you.
It is problematic, but it does give us the opportunity to watch it again in the meantime, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I do that with Bad Batch as well.
Well, the thing is, like, it's almost that good because there's like, so far there have been enough. What do you call them? I was going to call them cookies or whatever. What are they called? The little
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. God, I don't know why I was like, oh, cookie. Yeah, it's like a cookie, right? Stupid. But like, there's been enough Easter eggy stuff in there that, like, on a rewatch, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that little thing over there. Oh, yeah, look at that. So I've been happy with the little bits of rewatch that I've tried to do. I haven't been able to make it through a full episode but yeah, I have a little kid here, and generally she'll conflict with like, oh, well, I'm going to go hang out with her, and, instead. She's still cooler than Loki. She's
Your
a
daughter
little-
is?
My daughter is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd certainly rate your daughter as cooler than Loki, whether it be Loki the character or Tom Hiddleston the actor. Olivia's cooler than that guy.
I don't know if she's cooler than Tom Hiddleston, but we'll give her she's cooler than the TV show.
Dude,
I've never met Tom in person. He might be that amazing. You never know.
he seems all right. He could probably do with a haircut, though.
True.
That's
But he's
19.
playing the character, though. I think.
Yeah, that's 1950s Michael talking.
That's the hyper conservative 1950s Michael.
Yes. What? Your hair goes
Blacky.
past your ears? You must be a girl. But I've got a beard as well.
That's just gender, though. We went over that earlier. That's just gender. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I was trying to do a cheesy callback or something.
Yeah. You got them long
Failing,
hairs.
but trying.
It worked. As I mentioned, I'm a little tired today, and it was super hot out, so I'm like a little rough around the edges.
But
Fish
certainly,
Tropic says, Corvus, you have a barber on call. I actually am due for a haircut in 2 days. Thursday morning, I shall be getting a haircut.
I think when you schedule your haircuts, that's the equivalent of having a barber on call. Yeah,
I don't schedule them. No, it's all walk-in. It's a
you just
little
know
barber.
when you go.
Well, it's a little barber shop. It's a little barber shop that's outside of the military base down here. It's run by some Korean ladies, and they do a great job. So I go there. I get my hairs cut.
Or T-Bone says he just watched the Godzilla v King Kong.
Uh-oh.
Is that streaming anywhere, or is it only in cinemas?
I haven't watched it.
No, nor have I. But I am a little bit of a Godzilla and or King Kong fan. So I would like to see it just to keep the process going. I think there's only been about 17 or 19 King Kong / Godzilla movies, so I've got to make sure I get them all in my repertoire. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it's streaming somewhere or just in the cinema. I know it's in the cinemas here, but the trend nowadays is we sure put it in the cinema, but also put it on a streaming service for $30 or something.
Well, that's the thing that I've noticed, that I was like, oh wow, the movie theater movies are coming out. You can stream them, and then it was like, it's $29.99. I'm like, get bent, like get out of here. I'm not paying $30 to stream a movie in my house. I could literally
what's
wait a month and it'll drop in price. Okay.
What's a cinema ticket generally worth in the States?
I understand.
Because you go with two.
It's about the same for
people.
2 of us to go. So
on
I think it's like
DVD
$18
already?
or something crazy. What's that?
T-Bones is saying it's on DVD now.
Well, here's the thing: is that it's like $18 to go to a movie in the evening. It's cheaper during the daytime.
Yeah,
So I think it might be like $12 or something during the daytime. But I'll tell you this: it's different to go to the theater, and everybody knows that. But the main reason is that, to me, it's not like the screen or the sound or the seat or any of that stuff. It's the fact that you're in the movie theater. You got to turn off your phone ringer. You got to pay attention. You're just in there. It's immersed. If you're at your house, it's really easy to be like, the dog's outside barking at something, and you miss 5 minutes because you got to get up and go figure out what the hell the dog's doing outside. Or Olivia woke up from her nap early, or I don't know. There's a million different things that can happen at your house. So I find a lot of value in going to the movie theater, and that's a huge part of it for me personally. But I don't know. Scungy got really quiet. I think she's drawing.
Oh yeah, I am.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I started ranting and you got quiet. It's my fault.
So I just realized I was quiet for long, but I was sitting at a table with like all my paints. I don't have to do nothing. I can do something.
True. I like it.
Yeah, me too. Because yeah, I make all these little games with myself when I'm sitting here usually. Like I don't know, laying things out and rolling them up in certain patterns and just little things like that. And yeah,
Good
this is way better. This is way better than that.
What's way better? Sorry, I had to run out the back paddock and wrestle a crocodile real quick.
Drawing is better than sitting and trying to make your jumper sleeve lay in a perfectly symmetrical pattern.
Right.
Yeah. Way.
My jumper sleeve.
Mickham says some
Oh, it
Italian
could
dudes
be.
at a restaurant. Some Italian dudes at a restaurant went. I think he's trying to say dumb. I guess numb. When we spoke about the Pride Week coming up again, I told them they would have more girls to date if more guys were gay. The mass hit them hard. I mean, you know, sometimes you got to deal with bigoted people, and maybe that's a good way to do it in person. That
sounds like a good way to do it.
They can at least just throw them off their stupidity, and you can just kind of move on with your day and laugh at how much they suck as people or whatever. Out here, you know, we do June is the month of Pride, right? And you know, if you're up in Seattle, Capitol Hill, Pride Month is pretty big extravaganza. It's a very important thing. One of the things I wanted to note on that is that a lot of people that are not from Washington or even the outlying Seattle area don't really understand like how big the Pride Month is. And last year during Pride Month, there was COVID, and there was also the Black Lives Matter protests, which turned into the Chaz or the CHOP or whatever it was called, the occupied area in Seattle.
Yeah, that was Chaz, wasn't it?
Yeah. And a lot of people are like, it's this lawless madness that the Antifas are trying to get everybody. Blah, 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 blah. What they don't realize, like, if you don't understand the politics of the area, is that Gay Pride Month, the month of Gay Pride on Capitol Hill, there will be block parties the whole entire month of June. So where Chaz and Chop was is where Gay Pride is every month of June. And it happened to be that they allowed this Chaz Chop thing to happen for the month of June. Come July 1st, they went storming in with gas grenades and all the madness and cops and everything and busted it up. But the mayor here basically made the judgment that, like, hey, I was already going to have all these police. There was already going to be all these block parties for the Gay Pride Month. Okay, I guess if this is what they're doing this year, we're just going to let them do it for the month of June, and it will basically be the same expenditure that we normally spend on the Gay Pride. And it's a huge party. Like, it's difficult to explain. Now, the one group of people that did lose out on that whole situation was some of the business owners, because Pride Month is beer gardens, parties, all that stuff for the whole entire month.
Stores.
A lot of businesses count on it as like their, you know, one of their main sources of income for the year, right? They didn't obviously
It's
didn't have
one of their
parties.
Christmases or Easters for the year.
It is. It's big time. So those are some of the people that that lost out on the deal. Now, I have argued that they were going to lose out on the deal because of COVID anyhow. So they did need to be made whole by the government restrictions and things that were happening. And it seems like a lot of them were. Obviously, some fell through the cracks, and it kind of sucks. But to those people out there that are not local to my area and have continued to propagate that, like, Seattle is like this lawless town and they just took over and they did all this stuff, like, you have to at least have some understanding of what the area normally goes through in the month of June, and that is the streets are shut off. There's block parties with beer gardens and all that stuff the whole entire month, so it's not even really that different from a police or a city standpoint of like what they generally have to deal with. Giant beer gardens full of partying people means you got to have a lot of cops. You got to have a lot of traffic patrols and all this crazy stuff that you have to do anyhow. And they were going to do it anyhow, so they let them do it for the month of June. I wanted to get that off my chest because I remembered it earlier today because some people were mentioning it on the national news, and it just goes to show you, like, people will politicize that kind of stuff and with just no understanding of the area whatsoever. Because most of the local guys, like these grifters like Dory Munson, that will go on to the national news and talk about how lawless his hometown is. The guy's not even allowed to do stuff in this town reporting anymore because of how much of a psycho he is. And how well
I guess it's unfortunate too that everyone takes the first story that they see on the news as gospel as well and runs with it. They don't try and dig deeper into stuff to get a broader understanding of what's going on.
Right. Why would you?
Yeah, why would you? I've got all the facts. The first 17 seconds I listened to.
The news is there to tell you what to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a pretty good definition of the news, I think, and the current affairs.
How did you feel about the new episode of Loki? And we still got to hit up the Bad Batch. Oh my God, a lot of stuff happened this week. Ooh.
That's all right. You said you're not going to work.
Oh, I'm going to work.
Yeah, I thought it was good to finally catch. Finally, we're only in the second episode, but we finally caught up to the other one.
Yeah, it's like finally the other Loki, and you're all like, it's episode
what's on the
2,
back of his,
bro.
What's it say on the back of his jacket again?
Variant.
Yeah. Yeah, we caught up with
gave him the jacket and he's like, oh, snappy, and then it's like the punchline is a couple minutes later,
Yeah. And I think he was just taking the piss because it's not a very stylish jacket, but he was, saying how enjoy he was of it.
Right.
But yeah, it was really good to see that this other variant moving through these other human bodies and stuff to work through. What was the retail employee's name? It wasn't Chad.
Oh.
It was a very Dennis, Darren.
I don't know, man. I wish I remembered it, but it was a cheesy name. But whatever it was, if it was Darren, he's like, I like Darren better. But you have to admit, like, the strong mystery of the variant Loki, like the other one, right? The one that we're not familiar with, the female one. There we go. Seems to have a much better understanding of their power against the Loki that we know. It seems so far to be true that she was like, no, I'm the original. You're not the original.
I'm the proper one.
Yeah, you're a copy of me.
I think they have sort of hinted at in the dialogue and whatnot that this Loki, our Loki, if you will, is going to learn some stuff about himself and have to grow, and that he wasn't ready to take on. He wanted to take over all of these. He wanted to take over Asgard and Now he's got sets on the timekeepers and all of that kind of stuff. But I think what he's going to learn is that, yes, he's not in control of his powers. He's not as awesome as he believes himself to be.
Right.
And the whole series is going to potentially lead him to that understanding, and he's going to have to really dig deep to get out of
like the
this other one.
I think like the parallel is that. So okay, check this out. So my read into that from what you're saying, to elaborate on what you're saying, was that so he showed him his timeline that he was redeemed because of after the death of his mom and blah 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 and all the bad things that happened, that he did come to that redemption moment, right? But because he's a variant in the timeline, and the Owen Wilson's character Mobius, is that right? Yeah. Mobius tells him
Mobius,
like,
Mobius.
Mobius.
I still believe the middle M stands for Mobius as well.
Yeah, Mobius. But he tells him that like of all the variants and stuff, like he has to go through all of blah blah blah, right? To basically, I guess, like fulfill and come to like a point of humility, like sort of no matter what, right? So like if he is indeed from the timeline that he's going to have a redemption, right? Like we're going to see him do some kind of redemption in this variant timeline that he's living in, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like yeah, it does. G'day, Triple J.
I think that's kind of what they're alluding to, is that he will have that I guess I don't know, the come to Jesus moment or whatever. Like he'll have the great humbling moments that will basically put him, even though he's a variant and he's no longer in the timeline, that he will still end up with the humility at the end, right? Like he'll have to, like that's his determined path, right? That's the determined path that we will find out, because of that's what the timekeepers are keeping, right? Is that like that you will come to the fruition that you're supposed to, right? And if you go on a variant path that puts you so far out of line that you won't have redemption, then that's when they eliminate you, right? I think that's kind of where they're going, but who knows?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one long roller coaster ride of us watching Loki learn who he really is.
That's right. I feel like I'm watching The Matrix for the first time all over again, not really knowing what's coming out of this.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be the gem of it, is that, you know, it's already, each episode has been so unpredictable and it's taken us where we didn't expect it to take us.
Right.
And I reckon if you've got expectations on this show, you're lying to yourself, because you're going to expect something, but it's proving so far that it's going to take us elsewhere than where we think it's going.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to know really what the twists are, you know, or what's really going to happen. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that I sort of am onto something with the arc that they're trying to go on, right? But then again, who knows? I mean, I could be a million miles from what it is that they're going to head to, you know.
Well, I mean, the show's about Loki, the trickster god, so isn't the show going to be the trickster show, and it's going to trick us every inch of the way?
That's a good point.
How could you not? Fish Tropic says Scunge is going to take us to her drawing.
Don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like kind of got a bit of stuff happening.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, hang on. I think my computer froze up.
I don't like being the only one here.
You don't
I
like
thought,
being the only one?
see, mine's all jaggy and laggy and stuff. So I thought it looked like you were bringing it right up to your camera.
I
think she
don't
was.
even know what it's going to
But
be.
yeah, I still can't tell.
Well, that's some ice cold water. Whew. Telling you, dude, it
Ice
was hot
cold
out
water.
today. We're officially
I'm
into
just
the,
having I'm having room temperature water because it's not so hot here.
telling you, we're jumping straight into summer here. We're skipping the regular part.
I think we had like 3 good solid days of winter, and now it's sort of back to autumn or spring. But you know, there's certainly moments.
Yeah.
But I'm sleeping at night with my door wide open and only a sheet and a light blanket on.
Hey, where's your winter? You don't really have winter there, do you?
Not where I am. I think a little bit further south, down the Victoria and lower New South Wales and Tasmania. I think they're getting a decent winter right now. But yeah, I don't even know if we've gone into
I heard there
single
was
figures.
snow on Mount Warning
Oh, really?
last week or something. Yep.
I don't think Mount Warning's tall enough to get snow, is it? I thought
This
you had
is
to
just
be
what
like,
what the town is saying.
yeah, right.
I can't validate it. I'm just
Yeah, doesn't snow only happen at a certain altitude or something? I'm not sure how it works, having never been experienced it. Having never been experienced it. I've still got words, I swear. They're in there somewhere. They just don't know where they fit.
Somewhere deep in there, deep on the insides.
So yeah, eagerly. I mean, what? It's only 4 or 5 hours until the next episode of Loki, and they really left us hanging when he jumped through the thing. Again, spoiler alert, not necessarily needed. It's been a week almost.
Right.
If you haven't
It's been a
seen
while.
it by now, what have you been doing? Watching cartoons or something?
Yeah, what have you been doing? I mean, come on. Get with it.
So yeah, eagerly waiting for that next episode to come out this evening. Can't wait to see where Loki and other Loki turn up and what goes on there.
I'm into
I
it.
met a lady called Loki on the weekend, and she was really excited to meet my Loki, and she's got Loki stickers that she wants to give him.
Oh. Not bad.
Wait, when was that? I thought you were at my house at the weekend.
Saturday morning. It was. While Soren was at Boys of the Bush.
Oh, I thought you only got. Oh, you meant she did. She didn't meet Loki yet, but she's excited to meet him.
No, she met him. He came with me.
Ah, right. That's the part I missed. I see. Absolutely, Mickham. I think that's why she does that stuff.
All right. Did we
Here's what?
expel ourselves of the Loki situation?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was another fantastic episode. I loved seeing the transitions of other Loki, going through all of those different people to get what she needed out of them. For each moment in that, I guess it was almost half the episode, was it? Maybe a third of the episode with their little interactions, and then seeing him run from Mobius and jump through the portal behind other Loki leaves us with buckets of anticipation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a strong move, because it's really difficult to imagine that anybody would be able to wait. I don't think I can wait.
Yeah, well, I think he's also, speaking of waiting, I think because Loki, our Loki, is he's been, like, we've heard 3 or 4 different stories from him what he's about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was the first little glimpse when he was deciding whether or not to go into that portal. I think that was, we were seeing a little bit of indecision from him, like he wasn't certain whether he's going to go down this pathway or stay here with Mobius, and then he's finally clicked, I've just got to go, sort of thing. So his motivation is still really unclear what he wants to achieve, even though he's told us multiple different things, but we just still don't know where he's going or what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Or what is going to impact his decisions in the near future.
That's the immediate worry that I have, obviously. But I think that's going to be a big part of his. I think it's going to be a big part of his humility arc, right? Like I think that's going to be the thing that will like clue into, like I said, the humility arc, right? He's going to go, and then wherever he ends up, there is going to be something is going to, for lack of a better way to put it, like bring humility to him, right? Because like he clearly hasn't, like he hasn't hit that point yet. Like everything that he's gone through is not equitable to like the loss of his mother for real and all that kind of stuff, right? So like I think what's going to go on is a lot of basically him getting smashed out from what he wanted to do, right? So he probably has gone there with for selfish reasons, like, oh, this is my way out and I'll get the best of this Loki. Like, I don't think he's going to get the best of this Loki, this other one, and it's going to be a part of like his gaining humility, right?
Yeah,
he's
learning.
Yeah, like a lot of bad things are probably going to happen to him while he's wherever they went.
While he's wandering that path, yeah, because he's pretending to learn his humility from Mobius, but essentially, I think he still looks down his nose at Mobius and everything that Mobius stands for.
Right.
I think he's like you say. I think his lessons in humility are going to come from other Loki more than.
That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting at this point, as far as like where my head's at. But
yeah, I like it.
Like we were saying earlier, we've been distinctly surprised by the show, and also sort of blindsided by it. Like I remember it being on the these are the MCU things that are coming, and I probably was as excited for this show as I was for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? Like not very, kind of like, oh, okay, I guess they're gonna make that, but I have to admit I was wrong, and it's amazingly better than I had my expectations were. So my expectations have been blown out of the water. So
yeah, well, I think that was an extra benefit because I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier was as shit as most people expected it to be.
Right.
And Loki was completely
don't care
not
what
what
happens.
you're
You just don't care, really. I mean, it's hard to really care what happens to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean,
Yeah, who are these
like,
guys? No one cares.
like, oh, okay, well, that's a drag, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, I think they sort of cashed in on the wrong properties potentially with those two boys.
Right.
But may they go on to have fruitful careers in the future. But I don't necessarily believe it's in their own TV show.
I don't think that show's coming back for a second season. I guess I would say that.
Yeah.
I mean, although maybe they are committed to it and they're just going to do it because maybe their numbers say that it was really good. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure it got the views. It would have still, raised heaps of numbers of people watching around the planet, but that doesn't necessarily equate to a great TV show. So yeah, hopefully they take the sensible option and just let it be and let them turn up in the occasional Marvel movie in the future.
I think Scungy's breathing into the microphone.
She's just getting into a drawing so much.
She's getting deep in there, and she was. I don't think she realized that she was exhaling into the mic.
It could be my breathing, no doubt, but I'm scrubbing this paintbrush quite vigorously.
Yeah, it was
Like it's
rhythmic. It was rhythmic to
vigorous.
taking breaths. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think we started synchronizing our breathing, and that's when it kept me in. I was like, "There's a noise, and my brain's making me follow it. What's happening?"
Yeah, could definitely hear the brush before and stuff, and the breathing was definitely a different sound.
I like brush sounds. I also like breathing sounds, though. So let's be great about
ASMR here on this stream.
ASMR coming at you. Ooh,
Like
maybe
a fury.
Maybe that's the Scungy's YouTube channel, ASMR art. Because you could just put a microphone up to the scribbling sounds,
And then breathe real heavy. Tropico's complaining now we've made her stop making the noises because he was enjoying it.
Well, we'll survive. There'll be more noises. Where'd my fan go?
Yeah. Just watch the replay again, Tropico, and then loop that section of the heavy breathing.
Good point.
That's what Brian Boitano would do. All right, so then we've gone past Loki. I did have a little thing that I wanted to show and play, but I also really want to talk about Bad Batch and don't want to run out of time because we're halfway through the season of Bad Batch and so much has happened. We're
smack dab in the middle. And what's his name? Got it.
G'day, MTFNF.
What's his name? It was introduced today, this week. What's his name? Kane. Was it Kane?
Who?
Is that right?
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see him show up. He's a fantastic character from the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I find very interesting about his presence is approximately around this timeline, Cad Bane and a few other bounty hunter type people were running around the universe with a young Boba Fett.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Potentially,
yeah. I think
they
Cad Bane put the dent in Boba Fett's helmet, right? Isn't that the dent is from Cad Bane, right?
Something like that. Yeah, the blaster scrape or something, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was that other chick with the antenna out of her head. She was like Boba's mentor for a little while, but I'm kind of hoping that with Cad Bane taking Omega away, or Omega, however you want to say it, potentially Boba Fett's going to be somewhere and roughly the same age as maybe a little bit older than Omega herself. So Ore Singh, thank you. Yes, that's the lady with the antenna out of her head is Ore Singh. Potentially we might get to see Boba Fett and Omega hanging out. Kind of like brother and sister, I guess, considering they've got the same genes and all that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't know about her genes yet, do we?
Well, we just know she's one of the clones. We don't know what they've tinkered within her, but she's definitely of clone genetics.
Right.
And she's one of the Kaminoans grouped her in with the Bad Batch of a group of modified or not quite right clones. So yeah, she's definitely of the same genealogy, maybe with a few tweaks and whistles and bells that we're not quite aware of yet. But that's certainly something that I'm considering as a possibility, is that we might get to see a young Boba Fett, and him and Omega might hang out. But also that potentially would go quite bad. But it was awesome, absolutely awesome to see Cad Bane back in the universe again. He's always been a brilliant character. He fully fits into that spaghetti western theme because he's very cowboy. The way he talks, the way he deals with his guns and stuff, he's very capable. And if Fennec Shand doesn't get the job done, then one step up, you get to Cad Bane, and Cad Bane's been hired by the Kaminoans to do a job. That lad gets the job done.
Yeah, because I think isn't Cad Bane like isn't Cad Bane only like the lesser like later on, or is he the lesser? Wait a minute. How old would Boba Fett be now?
Now. Or you mean at where we're up to in Bad Batch?
Yeah.
He would be young teens, I would reckon, because when we last see him in the Clone Wars, he's like maybe a 10 or 11-year-old kiddie, but that was like, I think the last we see him is back in season 4 of the Clone Wars, and he's still just a kid hanging out with the group of bounty hunters.
Right.
And then since then, we see very little of him.
Because I think isn't Boba Fett the only bounty hunter that's like higher up than Cad Bane, right? Basically, in the who's the best bounty hunter, right?
Probably by the time Boba Fett gets to full age,
full grown.
But then in saying that as well, I think it's alluded to at some stage in the Clone Wars that even as a young boy, at his 10 or 11-year-old, I think he was captaining the crew when Cad Bane wasn't there. Because or I think Ore Singh had been killed by then, I think. Geez, now I'm going to have to go and watch all the Clone Wars again, aren't I?
Right.
For the 19th time.
Because when did the clones have the clone uprising? When does that happen?
The clone uprising?
Right.
Who did they uprise against?
The Empire. That's why, as far as I know, the Clone Wars, the uprising version is supposed to happen down the line here when basically the group of clones that don't have a chip in their head. I think that's where the Bad Batch is supposedly going to build out how the Empire sort of solidified their their
Doom.
recruitment of soldiers, right?
Uh,
Because I think that's what they're doing with what's his name?
Tarkin.
No, the Bad Batch sniper guy. What's his name? Counter-Strike or whatever. What's his name?
Crosshair. Crosshair.
Oh, Crosshair. Yeah, sorry.
Crosshair.
Yeah, Crosshair. I think that's what they're going to reveal with the damaged Crosshair, right? Like the damaged Crosshair will come to terms with the fact that he turned on everybody once he gets discarded by the Empire, because he's going to basically be useless after being damaged, right? I guess damaged is the wrong way to put it. Injured, severely injured by the
Mhm.
blast from the ion drives kicking on there, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where they're going to go with kind of solidifying the lore here, that like that's why stormtroopers in the future are recruits versus clones. Like, because I think this will be the supposed proof that like the clones are worthless, because even the chips don't work, because look what happened here, I think that's what they're doing, but I don't know. I mean, I obviously have to wait, but and it's sort of a theory or whatever. But like, I think that they're going to do the clone uprising thing.
Yeah, well, that would make sense, I suppose, because there's going to be a lot of them that are pissed off that their jobs are being. They took our jobs. Normal
Right.
people took our jobs. G'day, Scotty.
Yeah, they took our gerbs.
So yeah, what else are they going to do? They can't all go rogue like the Bad Batch, but maybe they can in Uprise. Where does
Like,
Where
I
does
think
this-
I think what it'll basically be is that the Kaminoans get pushed out, right, from their contract.
Yeah,
And I think that what they'll do is just disable the chips in their head or something like that. Something like that will happen, and it'll be an opportunity for the clones to have an uprising. But I don't think that they'll have the numbers to compete with something that solidifies the Sith. Like maybe we'll see Vader appear and just murder clones relentlessly or something. Like that might be the finale of the introduction of like the true devastation of Vader or something. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I think that where the timeline sits at the moment, I think we're potentially, Vader is probably still in rehab, learning to walk again, and he probably hasn't been sent out on his first mission by the Emperor yet. But it'd be quite nice to see Vader turn up and do some of that clone destroying and stuff that he's pretty good at, or destroying in general, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe they'll alter that timeline a little bit or something, or maybe it'll be like the real. Because like after episode 3, right? So after episode 3 is after Order 66, which is where we're at right now.
Yeah,
and he became Vader quite quickly, and then they had the ever so famous Frankenstein scene.
no,
and then he started walking around. So maybe they're going to, I don't know, kind of change the trials and tribulations of Vader or something. I don't know. Maybe they're going to adapt it a little bit, or maybe he's. I don't know what exactly they're going to do, but I think it'll be something like that, where we'll get a glimmer of hope and then it'll be smashed, because there just is no getting any hope out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess there's still a lot of clones out there that need to be erased from the universe. So Vader's probably the perfect choice to go out and clean them up.
Right. Well, I mean,
whether
as far as
happens in
my feeble brain goes, seems to be like the only choice, really. Unless it's the emperor, which
Yeah, he
doesn't
doesn't
make a
like to
whole
get his
lot of
hands too
sense.
dirty.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense at this juncture to do that if you are the emperor.
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, another really good episode. Seeing Cad Bane was fantastic again. Like I said before, he's definitely a personal favorite. Or not, I enjoy
Well, 'cause
Cad Bane as a character a lot.
because I think realistically, we all kind of have to come to grips with the fact that like this is basically a Rogue One at some point, right? Because at some point, like basically nobody, you don't ever in this universe, you don't ever beat the antagonist, right? Because we know how it
Yeah.
all shakes out. Like nobody makes it, Like Boba Fett makes it, but makes it just because he's a bounty hunter or whatever. Probably just flies away at some point. But then he's working for Vader, so who knows if he really makes it? Because it turns out he's just a bad guy bounty hunter, right? Not so much.
He just works for who pays him.
Well, that's true,
And
but that's
we
part of
know,
being a bounty hunter, that the bad guys pay you to kill
Yeah.
people,
Yeah, we know Tarkin survives as well because, you survive when you've got cheekbones like that. They survive as cheekbones.
Good point. Valid. But Omega doesn't.
What's that?
It's like Omega's not going to make it.
Yeah, I think that's something that we all have to brace for, is that potentially all of the Bad Batch are going to die at some stage.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like we all gotta come to terms with the fact that this is kind of a Rogue One, right? Like
that everyone
we're
dies in the end.
no, everyone's gonna die in the end because we know what really happens, and that's that nobody makes it. Nobody
Yeah.
beats the Empire. They just get to Vader it up, for I don't know, however mysteriously aged Luke is. I don't know. Is he 16? Is he 25? Is he 35? Who knows how old Luke is when New Hope comes around?
Yeah, let's just call it 15 to 25 years. Just
right.
some
sort of this
blank-
vague timeline, which also is I always found was like quite odd that from the timeline of the movies and stuff, it's like Anakin becomes Vader, and then Luke is full grown, but he becomes Vader when he's like 20, and then when he dies later, he's like an old man. He's old man inside when he pulls the mask off, right? And you're sort of like, at this point, my brain goes to like, hey, like he shouldn't be that old, but of course, people would be like, well, he almost died inside the dead suit there or whatever, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah, and the dark side of the Force has interesting effects on people's visual appearance.
I know it makes some people young, makes some people old, makes some people get old. When Mace Windu like reflects the Force back on them, then they get old.
Yeah,
it's very bizarre.
To be fair, I wouldn't be unhappy if we never saw Mace Windu again.
You always say that, and then I'm like, you're just the worst for saying that.
And yeah, well, I stick to my guns when I formulate an opinion. Generally, mostly, occasionally.
I mean, I don't know if I can change your mind or anything, but
no, I think yeah, I don't know. I think Samuel L. Jackson might have spoiled him for me.
I
know.
I always thought he was a fairly interesting character. Definitely made some interesting choices, that's for sure.
I find it difficult now. Like when I say if I'm, for example, reading a comic book and Mace Windu's in it, all I hear is Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
Oh,
And
he's
can't-
yelling about snakes on a plane and shit.
Yeah. And it's like, if he's not saying motherfucker, then it just doesn't seem to make sense when Samuel Jackson speaks.
It's kind of his thing. Is this
But I
like the
know-
only movie that he doesn't swear in?
Potentially. I think there's definitely more to the Mace Windu character than Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, but I mean,
But,
he's still alive. You should get it while you can. You know,
Yeah.
he's only getting
I think
older.
we will see Mace Windu again. It's just a question of where and when.
Right.
I think.
Because I mean, you could really make him up to have been damaged and gone through a ton of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
because like, yeah, sure, his arm got cut off and he got thrown out the window, or whatnot. But he was only second in powerful, like, to Yoda, right?
Yeah.
He
Pretty
may
much.
have arguably been, different skills, right? Definitely had different skills than Yoda or whatnot.
Mm,
But I mean, he was the right hand man. It's not like he was a pushover or anything.
mm.
So I mean, there is a possibility that he could survive. I mean, Jedi would jump from high places all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care about Samuel L. Jackson or anything like that. I just think you could really expound on some of the interest of Mace Windu, as far as like the lore and whatnot goes. And I don't know.
Yeah. He'd certainly have a rich history,
Right.
and potentially future as well. And we know that they can still use their force powers when they've only got one hand. Goodness, he could
Right.
still force push the ground away as he was getting close to it. I don't think he was unconscious because he was screaming as he went
Right.
over the edge, out the window and stuff. But yeah, it's certainly shaping up. I hope that they don't sort out Omega's kidnap in one episode. I think that would be erroneous. I think there's a storyline there and potential for Omega to meet, like I said before, Boba Fett or any number of other characters that they could flesh out over a few episodes before she actually gets rescued. I mean, they're going to have to probably spend the next episode finding out where Cad Bane went, because they didn't find that out at the end of last episode, did they?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I
So-
don't even think they know who. I don't think it's ever been explained to them like who's looking for Omega. You know,
Yeah.
they've just
Yeah.
they've thwarted some bounty hunting, and they still don't know who. You know,
Yeah, I
they're
think
like
it's
their interrogation tactic is just asking who sent you. You know, like, I'm not telling you that. Oh, okay. Like, hey guys, you gotta get a little craftier. This one's interrogating you're going on here.
the viewer was certainly made aware that it was the Kaminoans that were
Right.
seeking Omega. But
Yeah, we know
certainly-
that.
Yeah, we do, but certainly the Bad Batch still have no idea.
Yeah, they
Um,
don't really
okay.
know what's going on.
I'm going to just
They're
quickly
completely in
duck
the
out.
seat of their pants, trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out how to not be in an army. You know,
Yeah. You hold for 35 seconds.
I will. I'll hold it down. We got a question. Hope the Delta virus is not a big thing then. We will have a well-known speaker from another club if all works out as we plan, and probably breeders. Yeah, the Delta virus is spreading. The Delta variant is spreading like crazy. I read the report earlier from Fauci and what's his name, Hotez. They both came out with the findings that people who have gotten both shots of the vaccine are resistant to the Delta. So, which means you're not going to you may catch it, but you're not going to spread it, and you're not going to have a severe reaction. So get your shots if you can. I know there's a lot of people out there that haven't gotten it yet. If you're in the States, go get it. Get it done. Let's not continue COVIDing, you know?
What did I
Yeah,
miss?
the Fauci and Hotez came out today that the Delta variant is spreading around like crazy. But people with both shots are still having immunity. Prepping for a Killy Show auction 11/12 in September. Oh, Mickham. That sounds rad. Scandinavian Killifish Association. Man, the only time I've ever been to a killifish convention in Europe, it was awesome. So I'd like to go.
Yeah, like there was the reference there to the Australian Killifish Association disappearing. Who was saying that? Oh, there we go, GRB.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
just
it just the
has disappeared.
website is down, or are they just defunct?
No, I think we're very, very limited down here as to what killifish we have access to for some
Right.
strange reason.
They could be invasive for you.
Oh, it's, we're just very protective, aren't we? We've learnt our lesson, it would seem, on invasive species and whatnot.
Yeah, you'd hope.
But yeah, there's a few available to us, but we certainly don't have the wealth of availability that Asians or Americans do.
Right.
I had a message from Scungy saying that she might go, but she has gone, hasn't she?
She's just kind of floated off the screen. I don't know where she went. She went somewhere. Off to the abyss.
Well, she warned me.
You were warned.
But yeah, where were we? Bad Batch, excellent. It's going good. Can't wait for more. If you're not watching it, watch it. Wake up to yourself. Now, I don't know. What have we got? We've got 14 people left. I wanted to do a thing because, that like I watch the Formula One and stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
Before there was a Formula One race in France at the weekend, and before the actual race, there was a parade of yes, we shall play a game. I think this is going to lead into a little game. They did a parade of vehicles from movies and TV shows, and some of them obviously very easy to recognize, others not so much. So I thought it's only like a 30-second video. I will try and share my screen if I can work out how to do this properly. Entire screen. I don't think I need to share the audio. There we go. And we'll see. Hang on, can I do this full screen before I click play? I don't know if it's going to let me do full screen. I'll hide that. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone can tell straight up what the first two are.
Well, that's Back to the Future, DeLorean.
The DeLorean.
The
Still going to
failed
try
car
and work
company.
out if I can make it full screen. Oh, I can. So we've got the DeLorean, followed by Kit, the Knight Rider car, Knight
That's Knight
Industries
Rider.
2000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Transformer, that police car? Hang on. I'm not 100%
I would.
sure.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, I can't remember which Transformer it was. Now, my vision was quite sketchy when I started, so I'll try and play it again. It's probably playing fine. It's probably just my shittiness. Oh, yeah, Herbie right at the start there. Of
Right.
course, who can forget Herbie?
The love bug.
Is it still playing? Because it's buffering on my screen. I suppose since I'm sharing screen, you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing, aren't you?
Generally, yeah.
So yeah, I can see the A-Team's van way in the back. I'm assuming potentially Magnum PI's Ferrari, maybe. I don't know what the big black Ute's from. What do you got? You got any ideas? Or that Peugeot taxi? I don't know.
That's
I
the
don't know
Fast
whether
and Furious car.
that Dodge Charger is it?
Mm-hmm.
And there looks like an old Bumblebee in the background. Tell me that. I was just going to say, was that the Jeep from Mork and Mindy? But then I saw the Jurassic Park number plate on it, so I answered my own question.
The Jurassic Park Jeep. That's not a car I've thought about in a long, long time.
Well, I don't know how I got to the fact that I thought it was the Mork and Mindy Jeep. But yeah, what's this Peugeot? Marseille taxi?
Oh, I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know that one either. There was another I think I mentioned the big black Ute. That just looks like some nondescript Ute. I don't know what movie that was from. Now I can't even find it on the timeline. Where does that take me? Oh, is it maybe a Fury Road or something? Crikey, come on, computer. Do the
I
work.
see the A-Team van.
It doesn't even look like a Ute. It looks like another Dodge Charger or something on stilts. But yeah, I'm not sure what this one is directly behind Knight Rider, and I'm not sure what the Ferrari's from. I'll just see if I can let it play again and see if it happens properly. No. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny little concept to put all of these movie and TV show vehicles before the race. I think it was the first Formula One race for the year where actual spectators were allowed at the event.
Oh, really?
So otherwise, I'm sure they wouldn't have done this sort of thing, because obviously you want some spectators if you're going to put on a bit of a spectacle.
That's right. True.
Moviecarscentral.com. So anyway, yeah, if only my internet worked properly, that would have been much more entertaining. Do we get any ideas in the chat? Was there a Batman?
Well, that big black van was the A-Team van.
Yeah, with the red stripe down the side. Yeah, Mickham, that's what I thought with that one. Oh, shit.
Oh, there you go.
I'll get copyright strikes for that, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Then again, I just played some of their other footage.
Yeah, you could generally play footage. It's the audio that they get you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty neat to see. I'm actually a little bit disappointed now, knowing that that was the Jurassic Park Jeep and not the Mork and Mindy Jeep. Mork and Mindy may have been a little bit obscure for today's demographic.
Might have been a little out there. I mean, if they had like an egg car or something, that might have worked. But
No, it's little egg. Yes. Crikey, does that show stream anywhere?
it was a weird show. A very weird show.
I popped Scungy down backstage because I don't know if she's returning.
Sounded like
to
she
it.
was doing dishes or something in the background, scrubbing pots and pans.
Possibly. Can only assume that she finished her picture, but I'll leave her backstage because she might want to come back and poke her tongue out or something, cut us.
You never know.
Yeah, I was thinking one of them was Mad Max Mickham. Oh, pardon me. Barricade. Thanks, Esthea. That was the cop car transformer. Shall we? James Bond's white Jaguar in that vid. I don't know if I saw any white car other than that Peugeot taxi. The Marseille written on top of it must have been a clue. Is there any famous movie from Marseille? Or Marseilles, if you want to pronounce it like that?
I'll say.
So yeah, I wanted to do that, and now we did it, and now it's over, and I'm kind of regretting that I did it.
It's been done. Yeah, but it's, we out here trying to have a good time, I'm running out of steam, brother. I gotta start getting ready for bed.
Righto. Got any recommendations other than Loki or The Bad Batch?
Right now, those are the two. Those would be the two good ones that are on. There's a show called Louder Milk on Amazon Prime. It's 3 seasons. It's 3 seasons. It has the guy from Office Max. Like, no one would really know his name. And it has Will Sasso in it. And it is a surprisingly good show. I started watching that a while ago. And Louder milk.
Like milk at a higher volume.
Yeah.
Not like Fort Lauderdale.
S is bi-weekly plug for Attack on Titan. I want to wait for the end of Attack on Titan to come out. I don't want to jump into something that cliffhangs super hard. I think it's coming out though, right? It's my understanding. Could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Sure. I stumbled across an article that was referencing a potential The Expanse spin-off show, but I didn't read the article, so I probably shouldn't even have raised the subject.
A spin-off to The Expanse?
Yeah, I think possibly a character-focused one on one of the particular individuals from The Expanse, but I'm gonna have to go back and investigate that. I want to recommend a YouTube channel. There's this guy called Jason Solder down here in Australia, and he has a channel called Australian Biotopes. Highly recommend it. He just does 3 to 5 minute videos where he goes out into, currently he's doing a jaunt around North Queensland. Mm-hmm. So he takes his lovely camera gear out and sets it up in place and catches some great footage, some footage on land, and then also does underwater footage. So he's getting these really awesome short, snappy videos of really nice Australian biotopes. there's the last one I watched was in the Crater Lake National Park, which is quite nice in North Queensland. Nice archer fish and rainbows and some other stripy buggers and stuff. And there was rainbows and prawns in one I watched the other day. Pardon me. But just a really good, you know, like I said, they're only short videos, but he obviously selects some good footage out of whatever he takes to highlight, you know, fish in their natural environment and stuff. Australian biotopes, ladies and gentlemen. Get some of that into you. You know, nice one, GRB. Never fail to amaze me with your legendary links, GRB.
Look at that. Strong.
Get in there and tell him that GRB and Corvus and Blacky sent you. Well, actually, don't say Corvus until Corvus has actually watched some of his videos and enjoyed them. Simple.
I've already watched all of them.
Are you already all over Australian biotopes?
No.
Oh, I see. Right.
I mean, let's see. I don't know. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to check it out. Oh, my God. They're 26 away from 1,000.
Who is?
I'll
He
subscribe. Yep. It's at 975 now. I just subscribed.
I mean, there's still 10
Give
people
him a
left.
subscribe. He's got
Get
to
in
break
there
that
and
1,000.
give him a subscribe and let's try and get him past 1,000 because, you know, he's one of those channels that puts in the effort. You know, he's going out there on the road and he's chucking these videos together. And yeah, I think it's a splendid outcome for him that he's, you know, puts the work in. He's making videos. He deserves 1,000 subscribers. He deserves a little bit of ad rev or something.
Yeah, why not?
So jump over there, say good day to Jason, and fingers crossed he'll be over 1,000 in no time flat. Because he has breaks, obviously, you know, where he's obviously out on the road doing all the filming and stuff, and then he'll come home off the road and you'll get, you know, a few videos over a fortnight sort of thing. And they're just good quality, short, simple videos, and they highlight what's going on in our waters over here. I like it a lot.
I shared it out on my channel, so we'll see if we can get him over 1,000.
Nice one. That'll be great. And, you know, tell your people to tell him where we're coming from. No, you don't need to do that. That channel, I think, is going to grow organically anyway. He doesn't need pushing.
Can we share a channel? Oh, I guess I can. Yeah, I go like this. Copy. Then we go over to Discord, and we go like this. Video creation. We go like this. Control V. Boom. And we send some
Actually,
people
he did one a couple, maybe a week ago, or he put one up, I should say, at this place called Etty Bay in North Queensland, where my sister used to live, like 10 k's down the road from Etty Bay itself, where he did this filming. And there's just cassowaries walking around everywhere at that place. If you know what cassowaries are, one of Australia's large lethal creatures if you treat them wrong. But yeah, they just wander around this little inlet, bay, cove kind of place where there just happens to be some nice little freshwater systems, you know, very close to the ocean itself. It was very good. Actually, I think that's the one where the prawns were in. My favourite long arm freshwater prawns. I want prawns again so bad. Got to get some. Anyway, that's my recommendation for the week. High and Mighty podcast, John Gabris. That's always good fun too. I've been on this John Gabris thing lately. Do you know John Gabris?
That doesn't sound familiar.
He's a very funny guy. He's very quick, and yeah, I like his comedy a lot. He first came to my attention from the Comedy Bang Bang show podcast. He's on there fairly regularly, and I've just always enjoyed his comedy. But he's just so rapid the way his mind thinks. He's super quick. Always appreciate that with a comedian that can think on their feet.
I like it.
His podcast is called High and Mighty. Good fun as well. High and mighty because I think he likes to smoke a little bit of the Mary Jane.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What do we do?
But yeah, good value indeed.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, buddy. It's my heart out.
Heart out. Thanks
I have a
again
heart
for
out.
hanging out.
Gotta go. Mhm.
You sleep well, drink well, eat well, all of that. And I'll talk to you
Okay.
as soon as is humanly possible.
That's right, buddy. All right. Good night.
All right, take care. And for everyone else, powerful, oh God. I don't think that was aimed at me, was it? It was. Anyway, I have to not use this background anymore. The only reason I use this background is because it's got TIE fighters in it, and I love TIE fighters. They're my spaceship. And yeah, it just so happens to be positioned in that manner. It's kind of quite good, isn't it? Anyway, we might just call it quits. I think that's what we already agreed on. Let's just do that then. We'll try and do it all again next week. Maybe a little bit more organized or something. Yeah, I like it. I saw it for sale as a print on Canvas, BJ, but it was frightfully expensive for how big it was. So I might have to just try and print it out myself and put it in a frame or something, because I really do enjoy that picture. It's very nice. It's so nice. But there's, a few of my other green screen backgrounds with the Star Wars theme I quite enjoy as well. That one's pretty nice. Whoops. That one's pretty nice too, because I love Vader as well. Oh, nice, BJ. Is that where it comes from? Damn, I got to buy more DVDs. Alrighty. Thanks again. Thanks, GRB, extra specially for chucking links and stuff up, bro. Always appreciate that. Stay warm. I think you did mention earlier in the stream that you're experiencing some chilly weather down your side of the country. I must say it's like probably warmer now than when I started streaming. It just doesn't seem as cold. There may be other reasons for that. Maybe. Let's not confirm nor deny. Oh, is that where I've stolen the pictures from? At least they're official then, and they're not just hacked out pictures of some fan artist or something. Brilliant. They're legit pictures. I might as well steal them and print them out then. I've got a Darth Vader to build Lego. I think I showed it last week, didn't I? My Lego purchase that I couldn't decide whether I wanted to get it out or not, but I really think I've got to get it out and build it. There's Lego collectors, and then there's Lego collectors, and I just really, really struggle to leave stuff in a box. Even though the Star Wars stuff is probably one of the best ones for retaining it and increasing in value investment-wise. But yeah, I'm... oh yeah, that's right. He's got my my Vader lobotomy on. He was the one from last week. Oh, I'm not even going to try and work it out. Yeah, Lego does hold its value, but I'm not in it for the resale. I'm in it to bloody put it up and display it. That being said, I need to build a display cabinet for my Legos because they're just gathering dust out in the open. Anyway, I'm rambling and waffling and wafting and waffling as well. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I know there's only 10 of us left here now, but there was a larger number earlier. I probably should have thanked everyone before they left, but people don't tell me when they're leaving, do they? Did I say thanks? Yeah, thanks for hanging out this long, people. Nearly 3 hours again. Fuck, I've got to sort that out. So much waffly. I'm going to stick with two. Here I go again. I'm waffling. All right, everyone, thanks for hanging out for the 19th time. Take it easy. Look after yourselves. Stephen P. I kept meaning to say hi to you and I didn't. Stephen P. MMIII. Double M triple I should call him. Fun thumbnail. Oh, I don't know how to do fun, Mickham. We'll see. I've got to do a new, I think based on, I think it was Paddy who said earlier about my thumbnails that I've been using recently. Yeah, I'm due to make another thumbnail. Like I'd make a video and then I'd take freeze frames from the video for my thumbnails. I'm due to make another one of those because I think I am getting a lot of repeats now. It's hard to get different frames that look different, but yeah, maybe I'll try and do something fun for that video and make fun thumbnails. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, you mob. Take it easy. I'll see you around the YouTubes and the Discords and whatnot. And you know, don't get sick. Stay good. Right. Yeah, maybe I'll have a tinker with that. Good idea, Mickham. I might get in trouble for using Star Wars intellectual property, though. Oh, Paddy's still here. Well, surely you haven't been here the whole time, Paddy. I've never seen you keep your mouth shut that long. Never, ever. But well done. Well done if you were. I can only assume you're up to no good. Behave yourselves. I'll see yous in a week or something like that.